process. Our first speaker is Samantha Harvey. Samantha is a fellow Brock alumni currently working with Goodman Career as a talent development specialist. Samantha graduated from Brock with a Bachelor of Business Administration in 2020 and holds a Bachelor of Science in Management from the European Business School. She works on campus to support students in developing career pathways through career advising, educational support with cover letters, resumes, interviewing, and more. Our second speaker is Victoria Kazmarek. Victoria is a proud Brock alumna of Brock University and graduated with honors, Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and a minor in Psychology. During her undergraduate degree, she worked as a career assistant for 3 years and found her passion in supporting students in their career journeys. Victoria is a student talent development specialist within campus career and enjoys working with students, hearing about their personal career goals, and aims to help them reach their goals. Thank you all for being here. I will let you both take it away.
Wonderful. Thank you for that introduction, Sarah, and welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining here today. We would like to begin with a land acknowledgement. Now, Brock University acknowledges that the land on which we gather is traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe peoples, many of whom continue to live and work here today. This territory is covered by the Upper Canada Treaties and is within the land protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. Today, this gathering place is home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and acknowledging reminds us that our great standard of living is directly related to the resources and friendship of Indigenous people. Some of the things that we're hoping you'll gain out of this workshop is just an understanding of some of the job search strategies that we have available for you, LinkedIn practices, a little bit of a preview to what you might be expecting. Now, we're hoping for some engagement with everybody in the chat. So like Sarah had mentioned, you can use that chat bubble there and type in. We are curious what your next steps are. Are you looking to go straight into work? Are you looking to further your education? Or maybe you're currently on a bit of a gap. You're considering maybe, do I go back to school? Or do you want to take some time off, maybe travel before working, these sorts of things? If you're comfortable, feel free to share in the chat. This helps us guide the sort of conversations that we are having with you here today. So we'd love to hear from everybody. For myself as an alumni, once I graduated, I took a small gap and then I decided that I wanted to go into work, and that's when I started working in the university. But again, every person has a different pathway, and so we're here to help you with your unique needs, maybe what you might be looking into. We've got a couple people in the chat saying straight to work, which is a good place. It's a good thing that you're here, because that's one of the things that we are talking about. Yeah, taking some time to volunteer and get experience. That's all amazing. Awesome. Okay, so continue to put your stories into the chat. We'd love to hear from you, but I'm going to cover some of the learning objectives. So I mentioned we talked about kickstarting that job search. So if you are looking to go back straight into work or going to work after some time, this is a great place for you to be to learn those strategies. We're going to go over some job resources for new grads. So if you had recently graduated and you're just a part of the alumni family, nice, new, and fresh, we're here to offer you some tips with that. And then we're going to touch on LinkedIn best practices. Now, maybe if you studied in a business program, you've already been all over LinkedIn. That seems to be where it's most popular among student and alumni. But any program, we're going to talk about how you can utilize LinkedIn to find jobs and build your network. And then finally, just some of the career zone supports that are available to you as a part of the LinkedIn or a part of the alumni family. So I'm going to pass it off to Victoria. She's going to go over job search strategies with you, and then I'll see you again when we talk about LinkedIn.
Thank you, Sam. So before we begin, I would love to hear how you would begin to job search if you were to start today. I know a lot of you are looking to get straight into work. So again, in the chat, if you would like to share where you would start and what is the first things you would do when kickstarting your job search. I know for me, I would usually start with like my documents, getting those all together, but I'd love to hear what everyone else, yeah, updating your resume is a great place to start. Um, that resume and cover letter is so important. It does take a bit of time to get those documents to where you want them to be. Checking job websites, that's exactly what we're looking for. Um, Yeah. So your first step in having an idea of what jobs, is having an idea of what kind of jobs that you're interested in. And then you can create your resume and cover letter so that you're able to tailor those documents to the type of job that you're applying to. Part of the job search process is tailoring those documents toward your area of interest and then also just beginning your search there, which we'll go into a little more detail, but I'm just looking over some of these answers. And yeah, I think that cover letter and resume piece, job search through different websites that's popping up. So I think we're all in the same place. So during your job search, you may notice that employers don't always list all their open positions publicly. The visible job market is only a mere 20%. So in the chat, again, I just want to get some engagement before we go into all of the details. Um, could you please share how we learn about these visible job opportunities? So the 20% that we do find, where are we finding them? Indeed, yeah, that's a popular one. LinkedIn, yes, fantastic. In the olden days, it might be a newspaper when we used to get those more often. Yeah, through our network and connection, that's a great point, and that's what I want to touch on today. So, how do we tap into the other 80%? We want to access the hidden job market effectively to build to oh, job banks. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So yeah, to access that hidden job market, it requires networking effectively to build your connections and learn about those unseen opportunities. Employers often hire internally or use employee referral programs to find external candidates. So, using those professional connections and networking abilities, you'll have far less competition for those jobs and a greater chance for success. So how do we increase those chances? We can utilize our brand and professional social media to help with this by building your professional network along the way. This is, coming out of university. Think about all those, people that you have available to you, whether it's faculty or staff that you've met at Brock or alumni that you've connected with. You position yourself to be higher up in filling the vacancy if you look at that pyramid. So if you're just going through sites like Indeed or even social media, you're falling lower on that pyramid. We want to make sure that we are right at the top there and putting ourselves in the best position. So in order to do so, we want to expand your network. We've seen, a few hints at LinkedIn and experiential opportunities, but let's touch on what some of these tools are. So with LinkedIn, you can connect with peers, employers, professors. Um, you can use the Brock alumni tool on the Brock University page to search for recent graduates in your industry and be able to connect with some of these individuals as well as get a better idea of job titles and organizations that you're interested in. So LinkedIn is a great place to start to do a little bit of that initial research of what kind of jobs you're interested in and what kind of career path you'd like to form for yourself. And you always have to remember that it's not ever going to be linear. It'll take you. Everyone has a different path to get to where they want to be, but LinkedIn is a great tool to kind of start exploring those opportunities. 10 Coffees is a great tool. You kind of think of it like a professional dating app. This platform helps match students with industry professionals with similar interests, so you can connect and have one-to-one conversations, ask for tips and tricks, and learn more about the possibilities available to you. Informational interviews are another great tool. This can either be a coffee chat, or an informal meeting to learn more about um, different opportunities and also get advice and build relationships with that individual. This would be an arranged conversation between you and a professional who currently works in a job, organization, or even an industry that is of interest to you. The purpose is to collect specific career information from an insider point of view. And you can kind of think of it as like a professional first date. So either a formal or informal meeting. But the difference between this and an actual interview is you don't get into the mindset of getting a job. Instead, it's about building that relationship. Industry associations is a great way to get more information about your industry and connect with others. Again, it's all about networking and meeting different people in that same area. And this is also a great place to learn about continued education possibilities, which can be found in our degree exploration guides, which I'll touch on later in our presentation. And yeah, it's a great place to kind of figure out, if you're on the fence of if you'd like to further your education or if you'd like to get straight into work, this might be a great tool to help you figure out that next step. And lastly, we have experiential education. So this is something that students forget about all the time, and it's something that I always try to remind students of. To remember that your academic projects, your exchanges, if you've done co-op or have been in clubs during your Brock undergrad, that these are all great ways to learn about your skills and what you don't like and what you like in certain aspects of your industry or your chosen career field. And these are also great things to add to your documents. It's a great reflection piece on, what kind of skills you built up through your last few years at Brock. So where to look for active postings? Here we have listed a bunch of sites that have already been brought up, such as Indeed, LinkedIn. Other areas to look for is the government job bank, whether this is a federal and provincial. Career Zone has their own job board where we are constantly posting different opportunities. Charity Village is a great resource if you're looking for, work opportunities that are local or even all around the world. Um, if you're looking for something a little more Niagara specific, the Niagara Workforce Planning Board is a great resource to check out, and community employment center sites. So that might be your YMCA, employment websites, something a little more local. But if you check out the Career Zone website, we do have a whole resource on where to look for postings. And this is just an example of different job search sites that you might see. So in this one, we're showcasing Career Edge and Talent Egg, which are fantastic resources to begin your job search process. And lastly, we want to make sure that we are utilizing those job search sites properly. So one key bit of information is to make sure that you are using keywords in your search to help target either specific industries or jobs. Different jobs can come up under varying titles that means similar things. So if you're looking for something in human resources, it might also come up in talent acquisition or recruitment specialist. So when you are doing your search, make sure that you are expanding the keywords that you are searching with so that we're not missing out on any other parts of the industry that would be beneficial to you. And then you can also use the refining features to narrow down the cities and the dates in which jobs are being posted. We want to make sure that we are looking for postings that are current. So one of the things that I would recommend to everyone is to always go to the organization website to see if those postings are still up. Just if they are using another website to promote their openings, it might not be as updated as their company website.
Perfect. Thank you, Victoria, for all of that great information. Now we're going to pivot to look a little bit more into LinkedIn specifically and what are some of the best practices for using this platform for job search and for networking. So I'm going to call you back to the chat here. If you have a LinkedIn profile already, so maybe you've just activated an account, you haven't touched it since, or maybe you're somebody who actively uses it, let us know in the chat just so we can get a pulse on who has LinkedIn, if you're using it frequently, if you don't use it, if you've never heard of LinkedIn before, if this is the first time that you're coming across this term, please let us know so we can get a pulse on where people are at. Yeah, Sarah says she uses it. Great work, Sarah. Haven't read some posts. Yep. So many different uses for this platform. It's great to see people actively using it. Awesome. Okay, I'm hoping I can give you a little bit of advice or some tips for maybe some unique tools that you haven't used within LinkedIn. Looks like most people are using it or trying to use it more. That is amazing. Great, good to hear. That saves a lot of the groundwork. So maybe we can talk about why to use LinkedIn as a networking tool. So Victoria talked about that 80% of jobs that are not just found in a job posting that you have to seek out. And one of the ways to do that is through building up these connections and working on networking. And we put a bit of a definition for networking there, but it essentially is interacting with others. And this is a great way to do that on a platform that's more designed to be professional and introduces that space where you can have these conversations about career development and industry information. And using LinkedIn as a networking tool allows you to see opportunities that maybe aren't posted elsewhere, live in this world of referrals. So with connections that you have, being able to support others and very easily send a message to somebody who is maybe seeking an opportunity somewhere. They've posted that a job's opening up, or letting people know that you are open to work. It allows you to have an increased credibility. Essentially, your LinkedIn profile is your resume elevated, digitally available for everybody to look at. And once you start to receive messages after you've really built out a very fulfilled and well thought out profile, you'll see an increase in your confidence and your self-esteem because you'll have people messaging and reaching out to you about opportunities that they have, or people might be vouching for some of the experiences that you had and maybe leaving recommendations for you on your profile, or you get to know the industry a little bit better. So when you are sitting in that first interview, you have that knowledge because you've been in that world of learning about what's going on in the industry for maybe a role that you're applying to. So some of the uses for LinkedIn, you can find jobs worldwide because it is such a globally used platform for this specific purpose. You'll find opportunities if you're looking to move abroad, or if you're wanting to stay within maybe the Niagara region or even Canada. You can find experiences everywhere. You're building your personal brand and enhancing your credibility. This is a really great tool for you to really showcase what you're about and what kind of work you're open to. And it's great if an employer is looking for more info or more background on you, they can see your profile. It becomes very searchable in Google and these sorts of things. So it's great to build that up. Like we mentioned, higher ranking in Google searches. It connects you with professional contacts. So if you're looking for a specific industry or organization, you're able to connect with people who are actively in positions that might be hiring or seeking out guidance from somebody like yourself. It allows you to follow research for companies and people and industries. All these sorts of ideas are ways you can personalize maybe what your feed is going to be looking like. And like we mentioned, staying up to date. And finally, building a network that you can learn from others with. People will post their research or maybe their input on certain areas. So it's great to just stay in that space if you are actively seeking a job. And 93% of recruiters, so people who are doing all the hiring, use LinkedIn to research recruits and research candidates. And so it's important to have a professional looking LinkedIn profile, because if you're applying to a job and I'm hiring, one of the first things I'm going to do is go check out your LinkedIn profile to get a little bit more of an image of who you are. And so we do have some advice for the use of LinkedIn and how to enhance your profile, which we'll talk to shortly. So some of the usage for LinkedIn, Victoria had already mentioned going site searching Brock University in the search tab and then clicking on that alumni tab. That is your alumni family and your connection. You can start to look at what sort of work are they in, what industries are they in, connect with these people so that way you can really build that connection. You might already have people that you connected with on LinkedIn, and there's sections that allow you to meet relevant people. So because you've connected with these people, you might also be interested in connecting with these people. And so it's just a great way to slowly continue to build a very meaningful connection of networking connection with people that you have. Joining different LinkedIn groups and exploring different LinkedIn events too. If people are hosting, maybe RBC is going to advertise that they're having this big event for new grads to come and work with their organization and learn a little bit more about what that looks like. You can find those experiences and opportunities all through LinkedIn. So there's a lot of great information to be found once you start to use the tool correctly. Some of the ways that you can actively network on LinkedIn. So first would be starting that conversation. You want to reach out and connect. And when you reach out to connect with somebody, you often get the opportunity to send them a message about why you want to connect. Now, this is a great way to have a short, focused, professional message with your intentions of wanting to connect with this person. So maybe this person is head of recruiting for this industry that you're interested, this organization within an industry. You can reach out and say, I have a passion in this space. I graduated from Brock University with this degree, and I was hoping to connect to learn more about opportunities with your organization. Short, sweet, but shows why you want to be a part of that organization and the value to that recruiter. And then they can choose to connect with you or not. And there is always just the opportunity to create more with this experience. So you can reach out to connections, have a conversation, comment on their post, engage with others. These are all ways that you can foster that network that you are slowly building up and have those more meaningful relations. So if you put out that you're open to work and you see another organization is looking for people in this space, you can have that direct conversation, or you can start to build that relationship by commenting on the different events that they're hosting, and they post about, we hosted this charity run or those sorts of things. Commenting, starting to build up your name and your presence, because I can guarantee you recruiters are looking at all of those different areas. Now let's talk about creating a strong profile. Some of the elements that you need to have here are a profile picture. If you have a profile picture, your profile is much more likely to be seen by others and shared out. The algorithm in the back end really likes it when people have a stronger profile because it'll advertise you out to more recruiters. So having a good profile picture, a catchy tagline under your name. So whether that be the current title that you're looking for, or if you're seeking work actively, you can put something about recent grad, hoping to engage in this space, or passionate about this area, those sorts of things. There's skills that you can tag to your profile that you possess, and that's a great way that recruiters can go and look to see what you have to offer to them versus what they're looking for. Developing an about section on your profile is great. You can put your intention, maybe a quick profile or a snippet of what you're looking for or what your experience is. Completing your completing your profile with your work and education is very, very important because, like we said, it's a great reflection of your resume, but it enhances on that further with all the different features that you can add in. So at the bare minimum, you want to ensure you have your education and work in that profile, and you can expand on it a little bit further afterwards. And including any other experiences that you might have. And you can request from others recommendations for your profile. So at the bottom of your profile, if you put a request for a recommendation from maybe a previous colleague or manager or somebody you did a project with, these sorts of things, that will go on your profile, whatever review, and you have the opportunity to review it before it gets posted to your profile. But asking for those recommendations is like having live references on your page. So if you had a great experience working with somebody, you can ask them for that recommendation, and it'll show maybe they're talking about your work ethic, your creative problem solving, these sorts of things. So that recommendation lives live on your profile for recruiters and other people to see, just the people who are already praising you, which is just a great tool to really enhance your profile. And like we mentioned, the different spots here, you can see a snippet of one of our managers' profiles here. So she's got a picture of herself that she had taken at the headshot photo booth that we have, which I'll touch on in a second. She's added a little header bar as well, so you can add all those pieces in. There's different ways now that you can enhance your profile. So if you're somebody who commonly experiences your name being mispronounced, you can actually add that enunciation onto your profile. If you have the mobile app, I think that's the only way you can do that, but you can add that on there. You can put degree titles. You can see they have their work title, so supervisor, career education at Brock University, but they've also added things to make it more catchy, like educator and leader, career development advocate. These sorts of things are going to enhance your profile. You can have your contact info there as well, and you can change your URL to be more personalized. I think I touched on that in a moment, but all these little things that you can do to tweak your profile are going to make it so that it's seen much more. And like we said, profiles that have a photo are seen 21 times more and 9 times the amount of connection requests just for having a profile photo. So like I said, the algorithm really is going to boost people who have stronger profiles. So it's important to do. And you'll see here, let me get my handy dandy laser pointer. You see here, there is a section to say open to. And so if you're actively seeking work, you can select that open to button and say, I'm open to work, or I'm open to internship opportunities, whatever it might be. You can turn that on. And in the back end, it lets recruiters know that you're actively looking for work. So they might be more likely to message you with some sort of opportunity that they have or starting that conversation. So it's a great tool if you're actively looking for employment opportunities to turn that on. And that'll help increase the amount of effectiveness that you have with the platform. And we talked about using our headshot photo booth. So if you are just recently graduated, maybe you've known this, or if you're a few years removed from Brock, we now have a headshot photo booth. So you can come down, get a professional headshot. I believe it takes 3 photos and it gets sent to your Brock account. So you can sign in with your alumni email. If you don't have it activated, you can just reactivate it, but sign in with your alumni email, get those professional headshots, and you can use that on your LinkedIn profile. They look great. Everything looks nice and uniform. And so if you're ever closer, if you're in St. Catharines or you're on campus for whatever opportunity, head down to Career Zone. We'll post our hours at the end and you can come get a photo. But I highly recommend using this tool. It's free for all of our students and alumni. So take advantage. And then you have that nice photo that you can put on your profile or for any other opportunities that you might need to share a headshot. I did mention earlier that you can personalize your URL for LinkedIn. This is something that I've personally done for myself. So instead of the awful URL that it might automatically give you that'll have 10 to 15 different numbers, maybe snippets of your name, you can create a custom profile or custom URL by going on your profile, clicking Edit Public Profiles and URL, and then editing the custom URL. So you can see that this person here now just has linkedin.com/in, and then they put their name. So instead of having all of these numbers, you can do that. It's a great way to integrate it onto your resume. But if you're advertising it on other places like social media or telling allowing people to connect with you, making it something easy to remember or easy to write out is going to look much more professional. So that's a great quick little tip that you can do to enhance your use on the platform. Now, building that captivating about section. So that goes right under your profile, and it's going to explain a little bit more of a snippet of what you are as a person, what you offer, maybe what your intentions are. You want to ensure that's written in first person, that your career identity and story words are within. So like I said, explaining a bit about who you are. You want to be attention grabbing in those first few lines, making people want to click the read more section. Including industry keywords is great because that's going to just make your searchability on the platform a little bit more effective. And so if you are interested in a certain industry, being very specific about that and saying that in this about section is great, because if I'm a recruiter for that industry or for an organization within, I can search that up and your profile is more likely to show up a little higher on the list than if you didn't have that on. Sharing your interest, experience, skills, goals, all of these sorts of things are great. Ensure that it is clear and concise so that if I'm reading it, I have a very good idea of what your intentions are and maybe what you have and what you can bring to the table. And like we said, you want to balance professionalism with personality. So I don't want to read it and be bored with the information. I want a little bit of you coming through. But how do you keep it professional, ensuring that your language that you're using is professional, but there's still a bit of you shining in. So finding that balance, a good way to test that is to just share a draft of it with some people that you trust and that you're close to, and they can let you know if it's really shining with who you are, but that you're riding that line. And then finally, looking at other people's profiles for ideas and inspirations. When I first built my about section, I did exactly that. I went and looked at people who I really appreciated and I looked up to, looked at their about section and thought, okay, how can I model some of the things that they're saying with the experiences that I have? And I wrote my about section that way. So that's a really good tool. I highly recommend taking a route like that. And if I believe everyone here said that they have a LinkedIn profile and they are using it, but if there is anybody still here that has never used LinkedIn before, when you are creating an account, creating a profile, the best place to start is include photos, so your profile photo and your header, complete your about section, add your education and work experience, and then select the status for recruiters. Those are the most important things to cover. And when you're looking to evolve your profile, and this is going to apply for most of the people here who have said, yes, I have it and I use it, getting those endorsements and recommendations are going to be amazing to add a little more to your profile. So like I said, you'll find that on your main profile, you can send that request for a recommendation to others. Sharing content and multimedia posts. These are seen more often by people to get better traction. So if you're currently working on a project or maybe you've made some advancements at your work or anything like that, sharing that with photos and blurbs are great. And they often bring more people to your profile and they may connect with you more. Like we mentioned, sharing those accomplishments, and then finally, LinkedIn certificates. So there is a built-in educational environment within LinkedIn where if you're looking to develop skills in certain areas, they do have workshops that you can work on. And once you complete them, you get a LinkedIn certificate, and that's posted on your profile. So it's great to look at people who, again, are in a space that maybe you're looking to get to, see if they have any specific certificates and complete those, or also look to diversify yourself, finding certificates in areas that are maybe not as common. And you can use that knowledge and that background to leverage the unique aspect that you can bring to a job when you are applying. So a couple of things that you can do to really evolve the profile that you have. And as you start to do these more, it becomes a lot easier to navigate the website. And that is a bit about LinkedIn. We're going to move to talk a little bit more now about Career Zone, the supports that we have for you. So I'll pass it off to Victoria. She's going to talk about our Career Zone center that we have on campus.
Thank you, Sam. So within our actual Career Zone space, our team can help support you in understanding your skills, connecting your experiences to jobs, mapping your career goals, and building your professional network. So through this, we're doing one-on-one appointments with myself, which covers, career advising. If you want to figure out what industry you'd like to go into, or if you're not so sure there, we can definitely work on that and help you figure out what your next steps are going to be. We do help with document reviews, whether it is resumes, cover letters, grad school applications. We are here to help with all of that. And then if you are looking for employment, we can help with those job search strategies. We went a little over those today. But if you do want to book a one-on-one and get a little more in-depth information, or feel like you're still stuck, I'm more than happy to help with that. And then we also help with interview preparation. So we can go over some interview skills just to get you ready, what kind of questions you'll see, how to dress for an interview, what kind of skills to highlight, and how to excel in your interview. But we can also do mock interviews. And if you have, an interview lined up, we can go over 10 questions of what you might see and how to answer those to the best of your ability.
Amazing. And we also have Career Zone, the different hours posted here. So you can see that. And like we mentioned, if you're ever around or on campus, you can pop in during those times. You can also find the times online, but have access to all of those different resources. And for our alumni, you have access to in-person bookings, like Victoria had mentioned, for a year after graduation. So that first 12 months after your graduation day, you'll have access to sign in. One thing you'll have access to indefinitely with your alumni account is virtual access through Career Zone. So that's our Career Zone website, careerzone.brocku.ca. And this is where we post job postings, we host online workshops, different events, and student resources. So you can go in and take a look. And for student resources, we've referenced to this a lot throughout our presentation. Under the student resource tab, you can see all the different sections here. So we have opportunities for exploring careers, job search, if you're looking for mock resume and cover letters that you can base starting to build your own off of. You can find all that there. We talked about those 10,000 coffees and all those different job search websites. All of that is under this resource section here. So please actively use this. These resources are excellent for you as a graduate and an alumni of the university to still have access to once you are starting to look into finding a job, or maybe you're looking to further change careers later on. But all of those are available for your access. And that brings us to the end of our presentation. So if you are looking for a way to connect with us, if you studied through the Goodman School of Business and you're a Goodman alumni, you can reach out to me specifically through goodmancareer@brocku.ca. And like we said, we're here to help and support you. And for all other students on campus, Victoria is your #1 go-to. You can email her career@brocku.ca. And again, we're here to support you in any way possible. So again, we want to thank everybody for having us here today, and for the Alumni Association for hosting this webinar. We're very happy to support it. And if you do have any questions, we're happy to hang around in the chat for the next couple of minutes and answer those for you. So please let us know. But if you prefer to message one of us, we'll keep our emails up on the screen there for you. But again, thanks everyone for joining. Thank you for being such an engaging group. We hope that you gain some useful insights into job search in LinkedIn. Great question. Where you can book a one-on-one appointment online. So you're going to go careerzone.brocku.ca, and then under campus career, you'll see a tab that says appointments, and you can find them there. Also, if you continue to have issues trying to book an appointment, you can always email Victoria through career@brockU.ca, and she's happy to help. We're all happy to help.